Marjorie Lee, that was my mom. I'm thinking of her today. When I got up this morning, I just said hello, Marjorie Lee on the other side. And Anna Lee, my grandma, and my great-grandma, Lydia. And we're going to have the opportunity in our closing circle to share the name of a woman that was part of your growing up. Maybe it was a teacher, it's your mom, someone who made a difference in your life. And just to say that name is so powerful. We know words have power, but that name, some of you may have not said that name in years, or maybe you say it when you stub your toe or get frustrated. Oh, Mom. Or like me, when you keep going through things. Oh, Mother, why did you say this? I don't know anyone else that does that. So today, as I said, we're honoring the divine feminine in all things and in all people, that tenderness of love, gentleness, and nurturing is a part of every one of us. We all have that aspect. And we want to remind ourselves, I was reading just a little bit about our mother of unity, Myrtle Fillmore. I love to remember that actually it's a woman who started the unity movement. And Charles came along a little later because Charles was skeptical and had some doubts, really. Not like anyone we know, right? So this is Myrtle Fillmore, the torchbearer to light the way. I love that title. And she was such a torchbearer. And she had a spiritual experience. Now, she didn't just sit in a corner and pray. Do you know this woman in the 1890s went and got medical books? She had an illness. She went and got medical books and visualized her lungs healing. She actually looked at the capillaries. Help me. Capillaries. She looked at the veins and the capillaries and everything going on in the lung region, and then she visualized that healed in her body. This is 1890. I don't think anyone talked about visualization and healing at that time. At least I haven't heard of it. And here she was, a torchbearer. And when she began to work with people and pray, she would share with them that it was the God within them that was doing the healing. They were not asking for something outside of themselves to come down and give them a car or open the door to a new job. It was the power within them that aligns with all that is, the power of oneness. Now, she talked a great deal about oneness in her writing. Charles and Myrtle Fillmore always believed that we had the aspects of the divine feminine and the divine male energy. In the 1890s, she was a torchbearer. Now, she was also a teacher, as many of you know. She married late in life and had 3 boys and adored her boys. And I remember how the first times I walked into a unity service, I was a mom, and it was Mother's Day, and they were talking about Myrtle Fillmore, and they told the story that Myrtle kept getting this question in her meditation, who will take care of the children? Does anyone remember that statement? Diane is nodding her head. Good. Anna is acknowledging that. Who will take care of the children? Now, I was a school teacher at that time, yearning to be a unity minister, just on my tippy toes of finding out what that would mean in my life. Who would take care of the children? Now, my first retreat was Mother's Day weekend at Unity Village. Just saying. And I knew the exit to get off the highway at Lee Summit, but I didn't know how to find Unity Village. I hope some of you have been. Has anyone been? Diane's been to, many of you have been to Unity Village. All right, we're going to go You want to go? Next May, 2025, I'm the head of a retreat at Unity Village. You want to go? All right, let's go. We're going to start signing up. You want to go? All right. So this Mother's Day, which was like over 45 years ago, I'm driving, I'm looking, and they said, look for the tower, look for the tower. I couldn't see the tower. But you know what came flying right in front of my car? A white dove. And I followed that white dove down the road and into Unity Village. She was with me. Yeah. I haven't told that story very often in a long, long time. So we know that the nurturing, the gentleness, the tenderness in our world, we have the capacity to share. Sometimes we forget. We get caught up. I'm too busy. Anyone busy? I'm too busy. I got too much to do. I got things. I got my phone. I've got, things I have to take care of here in the world. So I'm busy. I'm way too busy to be nurturing and gentle and tender. Yeah, thanks. Okay, well, let's move on from that. So here's a thought. We've been talking about the soul of money. Here's my book with all my little pages folded and notes and the soul of money. It's still available. We have one more week in this series. This book is life transforming, and several people have been telling me this. This is, what's our word? Amazing. It's amazing. So the opportunity to realize that the soul has a desire. And one of the ways we express that is how we use our money. One of the ways we use it is how we use our money. And we have the opportunity to choose how we use our money. Now we realize that there is a connection between how we use our money and how we experience life. Do we circulate money? Do we circulate love? Do we circulate friendship? Or do we keep it to ourselves? We have a choice. And the law of circulation says the more you give, the more you receive. Well, isn't that interesting? Do we forget that sometimes? Anyone here forgotten that? The more I give, the more I receive. That means my time. That means my talent. That means my money. That means my support. The more I give, the more I receive. And I know you've experienced that. True? I know you have experienced that. And the part is we just keep going. We don't take a sidestep and say, well, I did it. Oh, I did that. Yeah, yeah. But I'm too old, or I'm too blah, blah, whatever we say. So what happens is our mind begins to look at or focus on the consequences and the experiences in life. And we say it's real. So we see the consequences, the connections, and we call that real. But it isn't. What's real is the substance of life, the oneness of life. Because we keep looking at this mentally. Anyone do that in your head? You have a revolving one of those little file things we used to have? Rolodex, there it is. You had a little Rolodex and you would look at it and say, whoa, okay, I'll find this. Well, what happens is we begin to believe our mental Rolodex, and we have a conversation with what we believe. Anyone willing to own? I have a conversation with a negative thought, and so I say it's real. Mm-hmm. And the change is when we stop having the conversation. And today we're talking about listening to greatness. Listening to greatness. Now that's what Merle Fillmore did. And that was what the folks who started Unity of Salem, I was so happy Susan's here. Here she is. She's our founding mother. I'm so glad you're well enough to be here today. Listening to greatness. How on earth did that woman know where we would be sitting today and how many of us would be here? She just wanted to hear someone talk about unity. Now, she tells me the story that she went down to Unity of Portland many times. And one day she's in the line and she meets Gwen Norman, who's the new assistant minister. And she says, when can you come? And Gwen says, I'm ready to start. And Gwen Norman comes. They start meeting at the Y in the evening. So she's telling me this story. And I said, I know Gwen Norman really well. She married Paul and I. And I married Susan and Dick. So it's one big circle. I'm just telling you. There's no little place that we are not connected. Would you agree with me about that? We are connected. So the law of all sufficiency means that there is always more than enough. And we've been told the lie of insufficiency. That's what our world's built on. That's what marketing is. You need this because you don't have this. And it could be about a relationship. It can be about the new car. It can be about the new milkshake at Burgerville. It can be about anything. You are missing out. And we have this idea that there's not enough. And there is always more than enough of what we need, if we are willing to look and really understand, once again, the law of circulation. We expect something to keep coming our way, and we've stopped the giving. We've stopped being the friend. We've stopped being the connector. We've stopped many different things. Now, this isn't about blame or shame. This isn't like that. This is about not just listening to greatness, leaning into greatness. And what's the difference? Listening, that's one of my favorite meditations. Well, it's my meditation now. Is I listen. I sit and listen. Universe, guide me. Pick up the phone, don't pick up the phone. Go to the store, don't go to the store. Read that book, don't read that book. Share that idea, share that story on Sunday morning. Oh, okay. So what's the difference between listening and leaning in? So leaning in is taking action. Leaning in is going, oh, I'm going to take a first step. Having listened to greatness, we never know what that is. Listening to guidance, we could say. Listening to guidance, I lean in and I take action. So the part of the theme we're talking about today is the legacy. When we listen to greatness, we lean into the greatness, then we think of, what am I giving and leaving? What is the legacy that's occurred? And many of you are a part of the legacy of Unity of Salem. Susan is part of the legacy. She's our founder. Kind of, sort of. I don't know if she wants that title, but we'll put it on her. Susan was so much important. Where's Jan? Where are you, Jan? There she is. Did you know that Jan's mother was a Unity minister? Jan's mother was a Unity minister. She's a part of our legacy. And Danita's not here today, but Danita's father was a minister, a Science of Mind minister. And I'm part of your legacy because I was here many, many years ago, and my great-grandmother gave me the prayer for protection when I was 8 years old. Now, Diane was here from so many. Anna told me that her parents have been in New Thought, so you're part of the legacy for years and years. So as we look at our legacy, then what are we leaving? What are we giving? What are we sharing? Are we sharing concern? I'm concerned about the world. Well, that's reasonable. It's reasonable to be concerned. But could I give something else? Could I give love? Could I give gentleness? Could I give financial support? Could I get involved in organizations? Could I be part of a peace group that, does meditations? And they've seen all these groups. I have a Unity minister friend in Louisville, Kentucky, to bring down the violence. Louisville, Kentucky has had terrible violence in the past few years. And there's a large park, and there are churches all over it, around it, on the next blocks, and Unity is one of them. There's a mosque, there's a Catholic church, there's a Baptist church, there's all these Methodist churches. They all got together and meditated at the same time for 45 days, and they brought the violence down. Whoa. Now they're regaining their energy, doing it again. They're asking Unity Ministries all over the country, would you be part of this? Do we want to be part of that? Of course we do. Of course we do. So there is no limit to our legacy. There is no limit to where we can make a difference. Part of my legacy, I was talking to Ed, there he is, before the service started, about part of my legacy has been teaching Unity ministers, students who are today ministers. And one of the opportunities I have to teach is speaking from the heart, just like I'm doing now. No notes, no. This morning, 6 a.m., writing things down that are coming to me, stories, things about soul of money. And it's their very favorite class. They love it, absolutely love it. I'm not doing that anymore, but I felt like I made a contribution. So there's another word. Am I making a contribution with my life? Am I making a difference with my life? Am I leaning in? Am I volunteering? Am I holding a vision? Am I, being a friend? So Lynn Twist is the author of our book, and she has been a professional fundraiser. And she has taken on the Hunger Project and raised millions and millions and billions of dollars for the Hunger Project. And she works with people in Senegal, in India, and the areas in the world that are hungry. And she loves that work. And this book is filled with the most amazing stories that you can imagine. And she talked about how, as she's telling the stories of the legacy, how her mother was such a legacy to her. Her mother had cancer, and one day she asked Lynn to come over, and she just wanted to share with her how some of the things she had done in her life, what that meant to her. Now, her mom had 4 children. She was asked to help with a bake sale. So she did so well at selling out the booth that they asked her the next year to be in charge of the bake sale. You know how that works, right? And then the next year, they worked with 3 other schools, and then by the next, the whole district, the mom's in charge of all the bake sales, right? And then she told her how she got involved with a group that was building playgrounds for handicapped children. And she raised money and gave money to that. She worked with a museum, an art school, the zoo, raising money and giving substantial amounts of money. And it went on and on, 20 plus nonprofits that she had helped with her ability to be a people person, to commit herself, and financially support. Amazing, just amazing. Now that was Lynn Twist's mom. So we see how that legacy was passed down, don't we? And how then she took it to the next level. What was her mission? Hunger around the planet. Oh my goodness. But she said what it is about what you commit to, what your legacy is about, is something you believe in. It feeds your soul. It's not a good idea. Of course, ending hunger is a good idea. It's a hard job. Because that gives you the stamina, the energy, and the commitment to follow through. Now, she said her mom another day called her over to her house and said, I just want to ask you to help me write some notes. She said, well, who do you want to write the notes to? She said, I want to write the notes to the person who's been cleaning my clothes for years. And I want to write a note to the man who does my garden. And I want to write a note, just gratitude for all they've done for me, and my favorite restaurant, and the post office, and the on and on. And Lynn said, and we wrote notes to all of them. How often do you think the cleaners gets a note of gratitude? How often do you think the gardener or the woman who does my hair for 20 years, I mean, on and on. And everyone wrote back and thanked her. And so that's a legacy of kindness. What about that? A legacy of kindness. Now, I've been thinking this morning where I do some of that, but I have a new neighbor. And I really want to connect with her. So I'm not going to bake a cake. That's not me. But she loves plants. And she has beautiful plants outside her front door. I'm going to take her a plant. I'm going to say hi. I'm so glad. We live in a little cul-de-sac and hardly anyone talks to each other. There you go. Her name's Nancy. Ask me about her next week, okay? So as we lean in to what is our action as Unity of Salem, we have individual actions, and then we have a collective, collaborative action. What is our action? What are we leaning into? Think about that for a minute. So this is going to be our time to get quiet and listen. Wiggle around in your chair if that feels comfortable. I shrug my shoulders because I'm carrying the weight of the world. No one else is, I know, but if you are. Shake your hands or whatever it is you're feeling right now, letting go. I release and I let go. I'm moving my hands out because I'm pushing it away. I'm pushing away the conversation I have in my mind about why things happen. I'm pushing away what I call circumstances or the complexity of life. And I'm coming into the center of my being, the heart chakra, the place where I know I am safe. As I take a few moments to breathe in and breathe out slowly, the affirmation I say to myself every night and every morning, I am at peace. I am at peace. I am conscious of my spiritual consciousness that leads me into new paths, new ideas, new ways of giving and sharing, a legacy that has been passed on to me or has been revealed to me by the divine. And if any fear or disturbing thought comes to your mind, release and let go. I'm going to put you up on a high shelf for now. I'm going to be present right in this moment with my compassionate heart. And as we sit in the silence, we let go even more. I am. I am one with the one, and all is well. Hear the bird chirping. Ooh. Thank you, Spirit, for all the love in this room, for all the possibilities in this room, for the energy that we bring together in unity. When you're ready, just slowly, slowly open those, I call it cat eyes. Just blink a little, let the light in. It is done. It is done. Amen. Amen.